Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I am Cody. This is Andy. Per usual, we are the Tech Talk crew coming at you 27th of July, 2023, just about 4 o'clock Central Time.
Inching on 4 o'clock Central Time. And like 100, and it feels like, what did Paige say? Chicago feels like 105 or whatever it is. Real feel?
105. Don't go. What'd you guys say? You're in a heat advisory warning. Don't go outside.
Heat
don't walk your pet.
Heat dome. Don't go outside. You'll melt.
Don't get ice
Stay
cream.
inside.
Don't do anything.
Hold on, hang on a second. Go get the ice cream. That's fine. We can go get the ice cream. Just don't figure out a way to get it inside.
Just bring it back as soon as you can.
Correct. Or it'll melt. Just like you.
There you go.
You have sunscreen? You have sunscreen?
I'm going to have to get it tonight if it's going to be
sunscreen
105.
Don't
want to burn.
See aliens landed, by the way?
Dude, we could do a whole episode on that alien talk.
A whole episode. Beers and cubes and spheres and stuff like that.
Wild.
Look out.
Look out.
You think, what if aliens landed and they needed cheese? Maybe that's why blocks were ripped.
I think they'd probably buy a lot of cheese and take it back to planet Titan or wherever they're from.
Cool planet to be.
That'd be a sweet planet to be.
Planet Titan. Huh.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you got September Class 3 pulled up. You think the aliens are the reason?
Yeah, let's take a look. Are aliens aliens landed? They first order of business. They gotta buy some cheese. They gotta buy some Sep Class 3.
You think they're buying cheese lately to help us out here?
I don't know. Maybe that's why we went from $1.35 to $1.85.
It could be.
Congress had it wrong. Aliens are ripping this thing higher. I don't know. Look what we got here. Look what we got here. What do you call this thing?
We got a little gap.
Your favorite right there.
Boom.
It's small, but it's there.
Gap at about $17.16.
And it's $17 and some change. Interesting. We're going to do a little gap and go. What do you think?
I honestly think so. We had somebody in the office ask the opinion, and that was kind of my general consensus. I drew a Fibonacci retracement from
where'd you do that?
1559 up to 1855, and getting down to 1705 would be 50% retracement on there. Not saying that we, necessarily go back there, but if we did, it'd be a gap filler for sure.
Oh man, look at that! Look at that! That 50% basically fills that gap.
Yep.
I mean, it feels like we're going to go do that, right? I mean, they started. We saw a couple sellers in the barrel here after we ripped tire like this.
Yeah,
we've been walking it down. Interestingly enough, the block had 2 bids today at quarter high or something like that.
Correct. So, yep.
The trade that was interesting. That was something. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen there? I don't know. But
the volume's kind of slowed down a little bit the past couple trading sessions.
Volume has slowed down a little bit too. That's a good point. I think you're right. I think you got to fill this gap and see where we go. But you could be a little bit of a gap and go here. I mean, this price definitely. If I can just remove the retracement for just a hot second here, look where this gap coincides with.
Quite a
where
bit
this market really fell apart, right? The 1710, 1715 area. So, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, if you break through it, the market certainly didn't like being there for very long. And it didn't like being here on the way up. It didn't like being, it moved away from it really quickly on the way down. That said, current cash, I mean, where's current now? 1715 with no premiums using August way at 2020, August way. So, I don't know. I mean, this could be, you could see a nice little rounding here. And if it's supportive here, I would imagine you're at least going to attempt to get back into kind of like this area. Right?
Right.
So, but you think we're gapping and going, right? Just bounce off this gap, we're going to rip.
I believe that we're going to gap and go. That is, and I think when somebody asked internally, I had said by Friday. Today's Thursday. We have one more day. Could be completely wrong, but that's sure as heck what it looks like and feels like to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got to go fill this gap first.
Correct.
I think you're right. So to your point, gapping and going.
I mean, we're not too far away from there right now, right? We
really aren't. So the last traded price 1742. So filling this gap that high, or if you want to use the close, that would be 1713, right? So call it another 30-ish cents.
Right.
That's not a lot.
No.
But I mean, it's just, I don't know, really interesting. Like we had the block rally nearly 50 cents in a week, and just kind of showed you too that the market, how just wicked this got all of a sudden. I agree. I think you got to go fill this gap, and then the potential exists for us to kind of have a quick run here. I think especially too if we start to see, let's say the block holds steady, we start to trade some barrels, and maybe the barrel just stops going down. Sep really isn't that big of a premium to cash. You could argue it's not premium really at all, and I think it would be a month that heading into its pricing period, which I think is in another 2 weeks. Check out Bases Loaded with Joe, by the way, to learn more about that. Build in more of a premium heading into its pricing period.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. So you think aliens are either among us or have landed per the congressional hearing, and then they're buying cheese. We're going to gap and go, meaning fill the gap, go higher.
Correct.
Got it. All
Correct.
right. Fair enough. Are you buying? Like, let's say we go trade 17.10. Are you going to have the hammer out and just like?
Yeah. I mean, I think from looking at this chart and everything that we just brought up, plus the aliens, I think you kind of have to.
Listen, got it. Okay, cool.
Right.
I think you'd make friends with aliens.
I think so too. I'd like to think that I would be a friendly individual.
Yeah, like a good Earth ambassador.
Right.
You just practice this one. Can you do this? There you go.
There you go. Got it.
You're like, hey, I have a question, and then do that. Watch this. You do this too. Like, bam, bam. All right, work on that. Just work on that.
I'll work on
that. What's the next chart? Here we go. So, I don't know. Maybe aliens got to buy some corn. What do you think?
Ooh.
They may get a chance to buy it a little cheaper. I don't know. Isn't this what we talked about last time? It making it potentially an M here?
It is, and I don't know. I don't consider that a full M formation at this point. Do you? Mid?
I don't think so. Not yet. I think you got to get below this stuff right here. So what is this? 536. What I think is interesting is if you look at this guy right here versus here, and I'm down here at the momentum area.
Yep.
This momentum here, and then right. I mean, really, it's like what's interesting about these secondary indicators is that they can trade. They can have their own formations, right?
Right. The momentum is actually shaping up to be quite an M formation in itself.
Yes, exactly. Right. And so when it crossed zero and it started to rally, right? And then it wasn't able to break through its previous high, or at least it appears to be failing up against that high. Should this start to roll over and cross back into negative territory, that would be a bearish indicator because you have a bearish confirmation here, right? You have a failure to put in a new high in the secondary indicator, and you also have a failure to put in we're not even really getting close to this former high. So, it's a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
Where does it go? There certainly was a lot of choppy trade around $4.90 to $5. I think that's the next stop. So that would be my thought. I think it feels like, I know we talked about there being a potential for an M. I think it's starting to act that way, both in the chart itself, but also to some of the secondary indicators as well. And now I think we got to, I don't know.
I'm looking on yours. So on mine, I have the 100-day simple moving average, which I don't think you have yours on there. But
nope.
What's interesting about today is we settled right on that line.
All right, hang on. Let me change the 200-day to 100-day.
Well, no, I think the 200 days is interesting also because we went and touched the 200 and then came screaming right back down within 3 to 4 trading sessions to the 100-day. Look at that.
Hang on a second there, Richard. So I just changed the green one to the 200-day, or the 100-day, excuse me. And if I'm looking at that correctly, it closed below it.
Is it below?
Yeah.
Okay, mine.
Not by much.
I didn't zoom in that tight.
So the 100-day closed 546.5. Today's close is 542 and a quarter.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yikes. So you did close below the 100-day moving average. So the question is, do we get a lower open tonight?
Right.
You get a lower open, you'd confirm that. You'd have not only some of these longer term moving averages, great spot, by the way, nice work. Also, too, some of these secondary indicators pointing bearish.
Let's say we do open a little bit lower tonight, testing $5 again.
I think you got to get back into all this noise. Hang on.
Okay.
Right there. I think it's next stop, that stuff, which is $4.90 to $5.
Okay.
So, hey, you know what? This is a very positive tech talk for the dairy producer.
It is.
How about that? Let's talk more about feed, shall we? Beans.
Soybeans.
Oh, man. This has been a rip-roaring trade here.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jimbo about this, Jim Matthews, and to me, I think, I don't know, man, this feels like
It looks like it just wants to kind of roll over.
I was thinking the same thing. And, like the issue is that it continues, like this trend has not been broken, even though it's, kind of going the sideways here. It failed. It is failing to put in, let me just get rid of this one real fast. Oops. It's failing to put in a new contract high on this move.
Mm-hmm.
New high close, I should say. Or is it? No, excuse me. Not a new high close. I'm sorry. Get over this high from the previous, what is this, beginning of the year? So you're just kind of seeing this consolidate. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing this consolidation right up against the same area. And last time we did, it just steadily moved, grinded itself down. Took a while. So it's going to do a die time for this uptrend, right?
Yeah.
So it feels like it's just going to be really volatile. And you're seeing, so here's one that's really interesting. If you look at the secondary down here, this RSI, it got into overbought territory, came back down, tried again. If it can't get through it, that's a failure. And you're also seeing, we just looked at it in corn, momentum is doing the same thing that corn's doing, right? Where you had you had this high, tried to come down and retrace that, and are now putting in a lower high. This one's just a lot more pronounced. But the momentum in this market is clearly moving towards the bear camp.
Correct.
So I think you could take a shot at being short this. I think you got to have a tight stop on it though, because flip side is I think if you get a close over like, what is this, 1429 and some change, say you get a 1430 close, really more like a 36. Basically, if you can close over all this noise right here, and then open higher, I mean, it could turn into a bit of a face ripper.
Really confirm the being in the bear camp, you need to close along that long-term trend line.
For sure. I think if you broke that, you're running into kind of the jeopardy of retracing a significant portion of this rally.
For sure.
And then let's talk about, let's say that happens.
Yeah, where's 50% retracement on there?
Let's use that.
Oh.
I mean, you're talking about 1280, which kind of converges with, what is that, the 50-day, the 100-day? It exists. Or the potential exists for it. If it starts to roll over and break this trend, it would probably do it quickly, right? You'd have like a 45-cent lower day kind of thing, followed up with like a 35-cent lower day. All of a sudden, we're 1280.
Right.
So yeah, I think you can be a little bit short here, especially given today's price action. I think you can add, if you break through this, you want to be careful of it getting, if it where you're wrong.
Correct.
It's kind of giving you those odds, right?
Correct.
Closes over this high from this day. You definitely want to be out of that.
What is that, about 14? You said 1436, 1437? Yeah.
In that area, right?
Yeah.
So I think tonight's open, and tomorrow's session is going to be key, because now you're like another day like today, and you'll break through this.
Right.
Right. So now it's kind of the onus is turning on the bears, but they seem, like I said, they've got the momentum and like these indicators, these secondary indicators on their side. So you're getting like the bearish confirmation rather than bearish like divergence, I should say.
Yeah.
So that's all I know.
We appreciate the insight as always.
I don't know anything, man.
Well, hey.
I don't know if I want to go watch that congressional hearing again, though. Like, it might, I don't know. Freak me out.
I mean, it's warm enough. You should probably go get some ice cream, just come back, watch the congressional hearing, and enjoy yourself tonight. It's going to be 105 feel. It's hot. That's really hot. Like, what was it in Death Valley? That it was like 130 degrees or whatever? Yeah. It's almost as hot as this show is. All right, everybody. And with that awesome joke, we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. For Andy and myself and Tech Talk, we would appreciate some more charts. If anyone wants to see one next time that we have not looked at in a while, please email us, call us, do whatever you got to do to get a hold of us. But until next week, have a great weekend. An even better week. Stay inside. It's going to be hot. That joke. That joke is awesome. At Ever.Ag, we partner with every corner of the agriculture industry, from dairy to livestock, crops, and agribusiness, to deliver intelligent supply chain and risk management solutions. We are Ever.Ag, everything agriculture. Learn more at www.ever.ag/everything.